you've got an automatic transmission car. Great. You don't have to shift gears like a 1950s trucker, and you get smooth, easy cruising. Until one day, you're stuck on the side of the road with a transmission that sounds like it's chewing gravel. Why? Because automatic transmissions cars might be convenient, but they're also one of the most expensive components in your car to fix or replace. Today, we're going over 8 things you should never do to your automatic transmission. And trust me, people do these all the time without even realizing they're slowly killing their car. 1. Driving through deep water. Let's start with something most people underestimate: water. You see a big puddle or a flooded street, and you think, I've got this. But what you don't see is what's happening under your hood. Automatic transmissions are sealed systems, but they still have vents to equalize pressure as the fluid heats and cools. These vents are necessary, but they're also vulnerable. When you drive through deep water, especially anything that reaches your transmission or higher, there's a serious risk that water gets sucked in through those vents. And once water gets into your transmission fluid, it's game over. Water and ATF, automatic transmission fluid, don't mix. It dilutes the fluid, kills the lubrication, and wreaks havoc on the clutches, solenoids, and torque converter. At that point, your only options are a full rebuild or a replacement. Avoid water like your transmission's life depends on it, because it absolutely does. 2. Shifting from drive to reverse while moving. This one's almost legendary. We've all heard stories. Some teenage driver tries to pull off a fast 3-point turn, where they panic and slap the shifter from drive to reverse while still rolling forward. Let me make this simple. Never shift from drive to reverse, or vice versa, unless you're at a complete stop. No exceptions. Your transmission isn't built to suddenly change direction while parts inside are still spinning at high speeds. Doing this forces the transmission to absorb a massive shock load, and that shock can destroy everything from gear teeth to planetary gears to internal clutches. And don't think modern electronics will save you. Sure, some newer vehicles have safety measures to prevent catastrophic shifts, but they're not bulletproof. You might not destroy it the first time, but keep doing it, and you'll end up with a slipping, jerky mess of a transmission. 3. Idling in drive for long periods. People think that idling in drive is harmless. You're not moving, the engine's just humming, right? Wrong. When you're idling in drive, the torque converter is still spinning, still generating heat. But the car's not moving, so there's very little airflow to cool the system, and you're not getting the cooling benefit of higher transmission fluid circulation like you would while driving. Over time, this buildup of heat degrades your transmission fluid, causes excessive wear on seals and components, and can even lead to internal overheating, especially on hot days or in traffic. If you're going to be stopped for more than a minute or two, like in a drive-through line or during long train crossings, either put the car in park or turn it off entirely. It's a small habit that saves big money down the road. 4. Doing burnouts. The burnout. Tires spinning, smoke flying. It might look cool in movies or car meets, but in the real world, it's just transmission abuse disguised as entertainment. In manual cars, burnouts typically chew up the clutch, a relatively cheap fix. But automatics? That's a different story. When you mash the throttle and hold the car back with the brakes to power brake into a burnout, you're building up pressure and heat inside the transmission to extreme levels. This kind of abuse can lead to several serious issues within a vehicle's transmission system. It can cause the transmission fluid to overheat and shear, reducing its effectiveness. Internal clutches may burn, leading to slipping and loss of power transfer. The torque converter can sustain damage, affecting the overall performance and drivability. Additionally, the valve body can become stressed, which disrupts proper fluid flow and shifting. Over time, this abuse can also cause the premature failure of internal seals, resulting in fluid leaks and further damage. The result: a transmission that slips, shudders, or just gives up entirely. Unless your automatic transmission is specifically built for drag racing. And let's be honest, most aren't. Burnouts will send you straight to the mechanic with a 4-figure repair bill. 5. Believing the lifetime fluid myth. Modern car manufacturers love to slap the phrase lifetime transmission fluid in their manuals. Sounds great, right? One less thing to worry about? Yeah, no. That's corporate cost-cutting at work, not good mechanical advice. Even the best synthetic ATF breaks down over time. It absorbs moisture, gets contaminated by clutch material, oxidizes from heat, and loses its lubricating properties. Once that happens, it can't protect your transmission properly. So what happens? You get sluggish shifts, slipping, hard engagement. Eventually, metal shavings start circulating inside the transmission, and now you're looking at a full rebuild or replacement. Don't fall for the marketing. Change your transmission fluid every 60,000 to 80,000 miles. If you tow, drive in the mountains, or sit in heavy traffic often, do it sooner. And don't forget the filter. If your transmission has a replaceable one, change that too. Fresh fluid plus clean filter equals long transmission life. 6. Using 2 feet to drive. You'd think this one's common sense, but I've seen way too many people drive automatics like they're piloting an F1 car. 1 foot on the gas, 1 on the brake. This is a recipe for disaster. Using 2 feet makes it dangerously easy to accidentally press both pedals at once, especially in an emergency. And unlike a manual car where 2-footed driving is normal, automatics aren't designed for that. Even light, unintentional pressure on the brake while accelerating can confuse your transmission and traction systems. Some vehicles even throw up warning lights or enter limp mode when they detect conflicting pedal inputs. More importantly, this habit increases brake wear can overheat the transmission as it fights between drive and brake and raises your risk of an accident. Stick to 1 foot, your right foot, and drive your automatic the way it was meant to be driven. 7. Coasting in neutral downhill. Here's another myth that just won't die. Putting your car in neutral while coasting downhill saves fuel. Not only is this false, it's also dangerous. Modern fuel-injected engines already cut fuel when you're coasting in drive with your foot off the gas. That's called deceleration fuel cutoff, and it's more efficient than idling in neutral. When you shift to neutral, you lose engine braking, and your car's control over speed decreases significantly. If you hit the brakes too hard while in neutral, your wheels could lock up more easily, especially on slippery surfaces. Plus, constantly shifting into and out of neutral while moving can put stress on the linkage and transmission over time. Bottom line, leave it in drive. Your fuel savings are imaginary, and the risk isn't worth it. 8. Ignoring warning signs. One of the worst things you can do to your automatic transmission is ignore the warning signs, especially the ones staring you right in the face on your dashboard. Today's cars are loaded with sensors that constantly monitor the transmission's performance. When something starts to go wrong, the car doesn't just sit quietly. It tries to warn you. The problem is, too many drivers treat those dashboard lights like minor annoyances, thinking, "I'll deal with it later." Big mistake. The most common warning sign is the check engine light. And no, it's not just for engine problems. Your transmission communicates with the car's computer, ECU, and when it detects something abnormal, like slipping gears, delayed shifts, or a faulty solenoid, it can trigger that light. Ignore it, and you risk driving with a problem that's getting worse every mile. Then there's the transmission temperature warning light, usually a gear symbol with a thermometer. If that lights up, your transmission is overheating, and that's a serious red flag. Overheating is one of the fastest ways to kill transmission fluid, ruin seals, and burn out clutch packs. If you see that light, pull over, let the vehicle cool down, and get it checked immediately. Automatic transmissions might seem low maintenance, but they're not no maintenance. If you avoid these 8 mistakes, driving through water, shifting while moving, idling in drive too long, doing burnouts, trusting lifetime fluid, using 2 feet, coasting in neutral, and ignoring the warning signs, you'll keep that transmission happy, healthy, and far away from the repair shop. Because once that transmission goes, it's not just a repair. It's a financial heart attack. Take care of it now,